What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode. In this episode, I'm going to be reviewing the 2022 Honda Grom. This motorcycle has been provided by Honda Power Sports here in Huntington Beach. So if you're looking for a brand new Honda Grom, come down here and let them know your boy Petrohead sent you. But anyways, Honda promises that this motorcycle has an extra gear because the old one only had 4 gears. This one has 5. They also updated the digital dash. The instrument panel is all brand new, a little bit thicker, chunkier, more information on the readout display. And of course, you get a more flatter seat. Check this out. It's got a lot of room in here for big booties. And of course, let's not forget the updated bodywork. Aside from all those things that I mentioned before, this motorcycle is powered by a 139.9 cc air-cooled engine. Now, the displacement for this motorcycle has gone down just a tad because the previous generation was 125 cc's, but the bore and stroke has increased on this motorcycle, and that's what's giving it the zippier feel. It's still roughly about 9-10 horsepower, which really doesn't make any difference, to be honest with you, but Honda promises that this should be a little bit more zippier than the previous generation. Aside from that, the fuel tank is a little bit bigger than the previous generation as well. You get a 1.6 gallon fuel tank with this, and it also has an increased MPG of an astonishing 155 miles per gallon. Can you believe that? No wonder Honda has sold over 1 million of these little Groms. They are absolutely perfect for last mile trips. Full wet weight on this motorcycle is 231 pounds. It's gonna feel like a bicycle, guys, I'm telling you. But anyways, guys, enough with the specs. I think now is time for us to take this bad boy on the road and see what the differences are between the 2020 model that I rode and the 2022 model. Let's give this bad boy a cold start, see what it's like. I can already tell you that this feels a bit more quality. The fit and finish on this thing is a bit better than the 2020 model. So, here we go. Oh yeah, only 2 miles on the odometer. Oh wow. I already feel the difference. I already like the new dash. It's giving you a shift indicator like it's on a race bike or something. And yes, I just got into 5th gear for the first time. I can tell you that this motorcycle is a bit zippier than the last model. I'm doing 56 miles an hour, and I got here very quickly, quote unquote. But with the 2020 model, it took me a longer time to get up to top speed. Wow, I feel like I am flying with this thing. And I'm only doing 57, 58! Oh, 58! It's telling me to upshift, but I can't. Sorry, buddy, that's all I got. Wide open throttle. So yes, my friends, this motorcycle is a bit more peppier by a few miles per hour top speed than the previous generation. The previous generation that I rode, the top speed on that I got was probably around 55, 56 miles per hour. But I think this one does a little bit more. But they're both rated at like 59 anyways. I think Honda did a pretty good job of upgrading this motorcycle. And I think they did it right by putting a nice little TFT dash on this thing. For a small little motorcycle, I like the fact that it has a gear indicator. It also has a fuel gauge. Wow, look at that. It has a time on your left-hand side. RPM gauge right at the top, nice and easy to read. Tachometer right in the bottom tells you how many miles per hour you're doing. Very readable. Very legible. Really like it a lot. I think I might be able to overtake Priuses this time because in my last video I tried to overtake a Prius and I couldn't. But now I want to see that Prius again. Come on, buddy, where are you? I'm gonna take you this time. But my friends, I gotta tell you, riding the 2022 model makes a big difference than the 2020 model. Aside from the peppy engine, the seat, as well as the ergonomics, the side panels and everything make a big difference. I think taller guys will definitely appreciate it. With the previous generation model, it was perfect for me because obviously I'm a shorter stature person. If you're not a fan of my channel, hopefully you will be after watching this video, but I'm not that tall. I'm probably somewhere around 5'5", 5'6", with a 30-inch inseam. So that being said, motorcycles like the Honda Grom and the Honda Monkey are absolutely perfect for short dudes like myself. But that being said, if you look below here, hopefully you can see with my camera, there's a lot of legroom here for taller guys with larger inseams. So yes, my friends, the 2022 model, perfect for taller guys. Seat height on this motorcycle is unchanged. It's similar to the last model. It's at a low 30 inches, and I think that's perfect. For shorter people like myself, you can absolutely flat foot this thing. But for taller guys, you'll feel right at home. Other things I like about this model are the upgraded body panels. I think they're definitely an upgrade from the last generation. You get full LED lights and indicators in the front and LED indicators in the rear, which is pretty nice. What I especially loved about the 2020 model that I rode was the fact that it was very light and nimble. And the same thing has been carried over to this. Being about 230 pounds full wet weight, this thing is like riding a bicycle. It is so lightweight, it's so flickable. I can only imagine what this thing is like if you take it on the twisty sections of the roads. But considering that I'm slaloming back and forth at the moment, I can only imagine what this thing is going to be like. It's light, it's flickable, it's a lot of fun to ride, and after a while, believe me when I tell you this, you don't miss the extra horsepower. It only has a paltry 10 horsepower and I believe somewhere around 7 or 8 foot-pounds of torque. But you really don't miss riding the big bike horsepower, if you know what I'm talking about. And let's not forget, in small little tight spaces like the one I was in before, lane splitting is really simple because this is a tiny little bike. The only downside is that if you try to rev while you're lane splitting to get the driver's attentions, you won't be able to because it's got a very quiet exhaust system. Maybe that's one thing that you might want to do if you get this motorcycle, is do the exhaust. Well, who doesn't do an exhaust in a motorcycle as soon as they buy it? So that's by default anyways, isn't it? Now, I've been riding this little Grom probably for about a good 15 minutes, and I can already tell you that there's a huge difference between the old seat and this new seat. This new seat, it is very wide and it is flat. The old one had kind of like a cup on it, so as soon as you sat on it, it felt a little uncomfortable after a while. But this one is nice and wide, and it doesn't feel like I'm going to get tired very quickly. With the other one, I had to move around a lot. Honda's definitely made a big upgrade to the seat on this motorcycle. And if you want to ride a pillion, it's pretty wide enough, and you can do that. Not sure if you're going to have a lot of power if you ride pillion, but hey, I guess you can since it's long enough. So yes, my friends, now you can finally move back on this thing, and you got a lot of leg room. So taller guys, if you look below me, you can see that there's a lot of room for your legs here. The old Grom, I believe it was a little bit more cramped, and you didn't have that much leg room, but this one, definitely more leg room. Riding this motorcycle kind of reminds me of driving one of those smart cars. You look at it and you're like, I don't want to ride that thing, but I'm sure that once you start driving that car, it's a lot of fun. It saves you gas, it's very economical, it's not that expensive to purchase. And so I believe this motorcycle is kind of in the same realm.
Yeah, you get some good gas mileage.
150 miles per gallon.
What is it, a 7?
It's tiny, man. See you guys. Alright, I'm doing 50 miles per hour, and I think the reason why I can't go more than that is because I'm against the wind. But let's see if we can go full tuck on this thing. Here we go. 54! 55! 56! 57! Let me see if I can get full tuck. I am. 58! Oh! Alright, let's go back, see what happens. Alright, now it's going down 56, 55. Yes, my friend. So if you get full tuck on this thing, you can do about 59 miles per hour. And that was pinning the throttle. I'm going to let Mr. Tesla have it this time. I'll come back with my bigger bikes and go in front of him. So at that point I can take him. Surprisingly, this thing off the line is pretty zippy. As you can see, it can keep up with the cars, even with Mr. Tesla in front of me. As I mentioned in my in the previous video with the 2020 model, this is the perfect last mile little motorcycle. So overall, it's a very, very comfortable motorcycle. Overall, I think this is the perfect little commuter to get you from point A to point B. Obviously, you're not going to be able to take this on the highway. It only does 53 miles an hour. In today's day and age, everybody's doing well over 70 miles per hour on the highway. Alright, that's it. I made up my mind. If I ever buy a Honda Grom, it's going to be the 2022 model. They made some huge improvements. I like the fact that you get full LEDs on this thing. That extra gear is an absolute necessity. You only realize it after you've ridden the 2022 model. The suspension on both motorcycles, they're pretty much the same. it's pretty nice and soft, but it's an overall comfortable motorcycle. And I think one of the biggest differences that makes this a more comfortable motorcycle is that seat. Yes, my friends, the seat on this thing is very, very nice, as I mentioned before. Lots of room for taller people. Well, for me, it doesn't really matter. But yes, Honda has definitely made vast improvements over the previous generation. If you're the kind of person who's like me, who likes the upgraded bodywork and likes the LED and likes the extra gear and the comfort, then yeah, it might be worth it for you, considering that these motorcycles are $3,500 without dealer fees and all that other stuff that they tack on top of it. The resale values, I'm sure, on these things are amazing, because if you buy it for $3.5 grand, it's not like you're going to sell it for $1,000. So you might lose a couple $100 depending on how many miles you have, but you shouldn't lose a whole lot. So if I were in your shoes, it might just make sense to get the 2022 model, because it is a big improvement versus the 2020 model. All right, guys, here we are back at Honda Power Sports, where we have to return this motorcycle. But now you guys have something else to look forward to, because I'm going to grab the 2020 model and do a full comparison with the 2022. So that video is coming up next. But guys, I think this is a major upgrade to the 2020 model, and I'm being absolutely honest here. I like the bodywork, I like the LEDs, I like the additional gear, I like this upgraded seat, and I like the additional power. And I think overall, I think this Grom is a better motorcycle than the previous generation, and I think it earns your dollars. If you ever come down here to Honda Power Sports in Huntington Beach, make sure to let them know your boy Petrohead sent you. Alright guys, until next time, I'll see you later. Ciao for now.